Peace, Farmer Courtney here. Real quick update today is just rounding up my thoughts around the podcast, right? People are like, what happened to your podcast? Seems to be a theme here, right? So what happened was it is a little bit different than what I normally do. So I teach visually or I make videos, but I like to write, and there was a specific articulation of thought that I wanted to have on the podcast, stories that I wanted to tell. And so I enjoy writing. I do a lot of reading aloud, and I teach visually. And so there was just some bumps along the way for me of producing that regularly, but I have been really stressed out, and I know it's because I'm not living on purpose. Like this entire thing, this is podcast that I have mapped out. So I'm coming with a new format where it's visual, screen recording style. I'll be able to kind of mash all the things together that I just mentioned. So then I'll just do it once, and probably not, as high tech as everyone, but I'm working on holding the vision of building out my team. And I had just gotten out of a homeopathic lecture. And if you don't know what homeopathy is, let me just explain. So homeopathy is a alternative, non-toxic system of medicine that's used all around the world with great success. And so I learned tonight in that lecture that about 3 to 5% of the population has ever really even heard of homeopathy enough to understand fully what it is. So if you don't know what it is, you're in good company. And if you want to know what it is, I have a free class that's called Show Me Homeopathy, where I teach visually what it is. Because I think that when we're talking about, things that so few people have knowledge of, that it's good to build on a foundation of what do people know and what's the bridge to understanding and showing the connection, possibly the agreement, the interconnectivity, the answer that it's bringing, something. I like to have some way to anchor the discussion. So that's what the holdup was for me with the podcast. So in Show Me Homeopathy, there's 100 slides, and in just under an hour, I talk about all this, vocabulary and terms and things having to do with this natural alternative medicine system. And I break it down and make it, at least something where you can feel like, like the guardrails. So this is, sorry to be flipped around, pretty low tech here. I'm going to do the same thing, and I make, a lot of visuals. That's one of the things that I do. So I'm going to re-record all the podcasts in like video format. So this is the first episode of the podcast. I wish you could see better. To Stir with Love, and the podcast is about the same thing that these videos have been about. It's about just bearing witness as a Caucasian who has learned at a distance from the Nation of Islam, and sharing my experience of what that has been like, of, hearing the rhetoric spoken and just how completely illusionary and off it is from the reality of learning about a universal teaching that's for all of humanity, if we but understood and had a clear pathway, uninterrupted access and teaching and resonance to what is being taught, what the thought consciousness that is and has been coming out of the Nation of Islam. And so I've been doing these videos. This is my 8th one. And the reason I'm numbering them is because I'm striving to do 67 of these videos in a row, because on the birth anniversary of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, I was thinking, what do I post? And, how do I how do I say what I want to say? How do you even summarize that and express that? And it came to me that would be letting me off too easily, that I could easily crank that out. But what would be difficult for me, and what I should do, is make 67 posts, because immediately when I thought, wow, 67 years of service in the Nation of Islam, it echoed back in my head, yeah, you haven't even done anything consistently for 67 days. Imagine. And I just thought, okay. I have to get on it, because I've been really feeling off purpose and stressed from not doing these things. So I keep trying to push past these different limits, and that's so this is me striving to do just that. And going forward, that's the podcast thing. So these will probably turn into that, right? These little disorganized sessions where I just sort of share whatever's on my mind or what came through or what I typed in a note. I need to deal with that podcast sheet and get all of those interconnected teaching points and stories and things out of my head, because I think it would put me in a different place mentally, because the place I'm in physically, which is this isolated, sort of sanctuary of environment, I do feel that that's a really big part of the purpose of why I was placed here and what I was supposed to get out of the experience. So I need to, complete that circle and that journey, or that spiral, that circle and the spiral, however it unfolds. But that's what these are going to turn into. So I have the To Sir with Love images that I'm working on. And so some of them, like that one, that's a really foundational, pivotal story that I probably will make a lot of slides for that. And then other ones, I'll, make some slides like the cover and the typical stuff that I normally would do anyway, just to share on social media. But then I might just, click around and screen share and not do a zillion slides, because really the effort is not obsessing on perfection and more just focusing on consistent production. So that's the deal. I appreciate you watching these kind of random rambling videos. But anyway, just wanted to check in for day 8 of these 67 posts. And I appreciate you joining me. I'll see you tomorrow. Peace.